Luke Thomas at the SAP Center in San Jose, California for the Bellator Dynamite Media Day next to Bellator light heavyweight Phil Davis. Phil, here's a question for you. How long do you think it'll be before people like me stop asking you UFC-related questions?
I don't know. Maybe after this weekend.
Oh, no. It's going to be much longer than that.
I don't know. We'll see. It's fun. Either way, you just got to answer it, and
Do you mind? Like the questions? I've interviewed you. I listen to some of the interviews while I wait in these terribly long lines to talk to you, and I hear it's like a lot of UFC, but some Bellator too. It's all mixed together. Do you mind the fact that there's sort of like a lot of that defining where you're at still?
Not really. It's really it's connecting where I am now to where I've been, and people want to know, so I get it.
Do you still talk to people who say, you know what, man, I'm happy for you. You look like you're having a good time in Bellator, but gosh, it would still be so great to see in the UFC. Do you get some of that still?
I get some of that still, and I'll probably continue to get some of that. But it's from people who are on the outside. If you're on the inside, you completely understand. And even people who work within the organization, they're like, oh, man, sorry to see you go, but I understand you got to do what you got to do.
So this is your first Bellator fight, first Bellator event. I'm hearing that it's going to be the biggest gate, and this is a quote, by far for Bellator. It could be a sellout. This is quite an arrival for you. To what extent does it feel different from a UFC event? And I guess not just that it feels different, but like how? Because I think on Saturday night, there's going to be a ring in a cage.
Right.
But it's going to be.
And that'll be weird.
Right. That'll be weird for everybody, you and me together. But it'll be crowded. It'll be pretty big. So like, how are you feeling about the whole process up to that point?
Oh man, I'm so excited. I've done a ton of media just to work up, get ready for this, and part of that just feels. I've been in some big fights, and it just feels right, So
does it feel roughly the same? I saw you in Baltimore before the Rumble fight.
Right.
This is fairly similar, I think, in some. I mean, that was a big gate too. But does it feel different than that? Or I'm trying to understand like the scale of it all.
Right. It does. It feels very similar. Yeah, everything is just. I'm kind of getting overwhelmed here, man. It's like I'm having two fights in one night. I kind of want to have a third fight, jump in the cage, in the ring, and put some glory gloves on and head kick somebody. I don't know.
Let's talk some housekeeping notes.
Right.
Does Alexander Gustafsson, even on a limited time, still train at Alliance?
It's kind of fight by fight. He wasn't able to make it out this camp, but probably in the future he will.
Okay, so it's not ad hoc, basically, is the answer for that one.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What about some of the guys who left Alliance? What do you make of all that? I mean, some of them are your Bellator cohorts here, like Michael Chandler.
Yep.
What happened there?
It is what it is. It's not necessarily anything negative. It's just like, in the sport of fighting, you have to be so selfish with your time and with your efforts. And if you feel as though someone else can provide you with a better opportunity, you kind of have to chase it down. With those guys, I remember when they got here, and we recruited them from other camps. And, it's sorry that they left those camps, but they found a better opportunity in our camp. And now they're off to a different camp, and no hard feelings that they're leaving. It's just, they feel it's better there. And, they're still our buds, they're still our friends, and, go continue to chase your dream.
Are we finally in mixed martial arts getting away from that crianche? You know what I'm talking about, the crianche?
No.
So in jiu-jitsu, it was they say it comes from a soap opera actor named Crianche, who was a backstabber all the time, or people who would quit on other people. So in jiu-jitsu, if you leave a team, like you leave Atos, he's a crianche. I'm not accusing Atos, I'm making an example.
Yeah.
Do you think we're finally getting away from the crianche model to the let's just do business as it makes sense model?
Right. I definitely think that's where it's at. Because if it doesn't make sense for you, if you don't have enough guys at your weight, if you don't have a training partner or a drill partner or a coach that you really vibe with, or whatever type of friction or turmoil, family stuff drives people out of camps to another camp, whatever makes sense, man. It's completely. I'm so consumed in what I'm doing that I can't be upset that you want to create a better situation for you. You know what I mean?
I do know what I mean. What you mean? What we both mean.
Yeah.
So before we quit this interview here, I guess I'm just sort of wondering about how I ask all the fighters this, but for you, it's sort of you're in a unique position since you have matriculated over. Is Saturday night, win or lose? I mean, you're probably going to say no to this, but I want to make the argument just for a devil's advocate. Is Saturday night like a referendum on you? Because if you come over and you win the whole thing, yes, you met expectations, but if you do it well, it's not like a rejuvenation, but you can definitely still have a improvement to your career, both from a profile and okay. But if you lose, people might say, you know what, Phil Davis turned that 30 corner. This is the best. The sponge is out of water. Right. How do you respond to people who might make that argument? Because a tournament is, here's why I ask, sorry, I didn't interrupt you. A tournament is bat-ass crazy, and anything can happen. So that's why I'm wondering, like, how much can you really make of a win or a loss, except if it's, like, completely dominant?
Right. You're absolutely right. It's completely crazy. In the second and third fight, you're not even getting, well, I can't really say, but I imagine you're not getting the true version of that fighter that would have shown up fresh. I know what it's like to spar somebody 5 or 6 rounds deep. You're just there doing what you do on autopilot. You're nothing like the fresh fighter. 1 or 2 rounds in. So I could only imagine. So having said that, opinions and people, they're so hard to win over. If I come in and I beat everybody, and it's like, I told you, of course he's going to do that if he's top 5 over there and he comes into Bellator. But if I don't win, it's like, I told you, he thought he was all that, came over to Bellator, got beat. You know what I mean? It's like, really, it's just, for me, it's just a matter of coming, having fun, entertaining the fans. Make it an entertaining fight, and you can't lose.
Can't lose wearing a Burberry tie. I know that, right? Actually, I don't know that, but I'm watching it. It seems to be the truth. Phil, thank you for your time, and best of luck to you in the tournament on Saturday night.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, fans.